All right, we're back. It has been over 2 months, honey, since we last did one of these videos.
I'm sure people are up at night, worried.
Constantly wondering where we've been.
What's going
All
on?
20 people, 15, 10 people that might have seen one of our videos.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, we have had a very eventful 2 months, but the biggest thing was last time when we were going to record for the April video, we got COVID.
Yeah.
So and it knocked us on our asses.
So that took a couple of weeks out of 3 weeks out of.
Yeah. But it's not a really good excuse because we had lots of time to do other ones. But this has been full on. We are in spring now. So the garden has started being planted. We've got lots of things growing. So everything from a ridiculous number of zucchinis to broccolis to peas to all of the perpetual kales, and the potatoes are starting to come up. You can actually see them here. Those 4 little rows of potatoes. I say little rows because here people seem to plant, 100 meters of potatoes, and we've got 24, and people keep giving us potatoes because they're worried about it. So anyway, so yeah, the garden is doing really well. Very excited by that. And if you turn over here, this is the greenhouse that was completely cleared of weeds, and yes, is not now.
Yeah, we didn't get around to getting our rocks in time, which that'll happen later. But the most important thing is that the food is growing.
The food is growing. So you've got tomatoes, you've got a couple different kinds of kale in the background. All of these are starts that we're going to be putting into the ground in the next week. We've got okra, peppers, 5 or 6 different kinds of peppers. We've got some beans in here, some artichokes.
There's some cilantro,
oregano, all kinds of stuff that is ready to start going into the garden. So this is just part of the process that we've been working on, and it's starting to look pretty good. Pretty good. Oh, and then in the background, you even get the milk truck.
Exciting times. You get to
go to the neighbors.
Go into the dairy farm next door to pick up the daily milk load.
Very exciting. So, all right, the garden is looking good, and it's pretty exciting, and it means a lot of work, but it feels amazing. Do you feel good?
I feel good, and the sun is out, and it is just...
I know, look at this. Short sleeves,
fantastic.
Shorts. Fantastic. It's amazing. So here we are, we're on the other side of the garden now, and there's just even more going on. So in the distance, we didn't talk about it earlier, but that is all the land that we have rented. So that was all ryegrass that was about a little over waist high about a week ago.
And I'm going to keep panning because it goes all the way around just so you see everything that's tilled up is what he's talking about.
So this is all our land, but that is land that is rented out to a farmer that grows the grass, and then he's tilled it up, and he's going to come in the next day or two, and he'll put down corn, and then I don't know what the process is where you flatten out the earth. I don't know what the technical term is.
Tamping it down? I don't know.
I don't know. But, anyway,
but it's corn for animals
back there, and that's something that we do not manage and yet. But the idea over time is to slowly take in more of that. We also got a new toy. Are you excited about the new toy?
I'm not nearly as excited as you are.
So we got a lawn tractor, which is basically a big ride.
We'll show it to you later.
Yeah. So but that's what this pile is. It's all I had to mow all of this because it was quite high, and so needed to come in. And so this is part of it. So I've started spreading it out in the garden and using it for mulch as well as for the compost. Lots of uses for it. And then over there, I've started doing wood chips. We have a wood chipper, and so I've been chipping wood from all the branches. So I've got to spread that. And I built this. This is Hugo culture-like, although I didn't bury it because I didn't have the idea of digging a bunch of holes. It's just there's a lot going on. So we just put a bunch of big logs that we had left from when we cut down some trees, and just filled it with branches and some of this, and then I'll fill it the topsoil on top and can plant in that later this fall.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's what's going on. So you can see that we've actually cleared a lot of the land. We've started a wood pile, things that need to be chopped up with the chainsaw. Shit Mountain continues, but it has been completely turned over so that we got rid of all the hair on top of it. It's really
hair meaning
exciting.
grass. Hair meaning grass.
Yes.
So it no longer looks like Boris Johnson.
It doesn't. So it's looking really good, and I'm pretty excited. Yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's starting to come together.
Yeah, it feels that way.
Okay, here we are in the fruit tree guild area. And so we have several trees that are already blooming. We've got leaves growing, and we've got little plants underneath that are all things like gooseberries and raspberries and things like that, to where the guild around the tree is got all kinds of food growing in it too. So obviously we're probably not going to get any food from these trees for a few years, but I'm really excited at the level that they're growing and that they all look pretty hardy. We've got more trees around the property that we planted, including my beloved pecan trees.
You can't see it back there, but
it's
in there.
pretty.
But it's in there. It's back there.
But yeah, these are going to take time to grow, but the idea is that each one of them is going to have a guild around it, so it's going to have all kinds of other plants underneath, and so it's just going to be this little zone of foodiness and shade, and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm actually really excited because we'll be able to see this from the seating area where we will probably be having our afternoon wine. So it'll be nice to be able to look out and see this over the years.
All right, here we are. This is, just for comparison's sake, this is what all of this land looks like here and out there just like a week ago. And so you can tell that it's basically up to almost to my waist, in this ryegrass that has been spread everywhere. We came through and were able to cut that other part that we showed you earlier, but here we've left it because what we're doing is you've got all these branches. This is from a lot of the trimming that I've done over the last several months, and I've just spread them out here because our neighbor has said he's going to bring over a tractor and be able to cut all these up and then till the soil up in this entire area. So we're going to do it all of this area, almost up to the fruit trees, almost up to the food forest. We're going to till it up in order to start again. We're going to create this probably into a wildflower meadow with some less grass for sure. We're going to plant some more trees in this area. We're going to have right behind where Betsy is right now is our house. So we're going to open that up so that the dogs can run in here. We've got some big ideas.
And I love that we're being able to reuse everything that you prune. It all gets turned back into the earth, and that just feels really good. And also, it's easier.
It is easier. Yes, that is a key thing if you live on a homestead, is finding easier ways to deal with the amount of produce, the amount of, not trash, but just extra stuff that you have. And so finding ways to use that and finding neighbors that will help you is even better.
Okay, so this is one of the cooler things that Warren has done. We have some escape artist dogs, and at first I thought that this hedge was thick enough that it would keep them in to this little side yard that we put them in. But no, they can get out, and they have several times. So Warren started taking some of the brush clippings and putting them down in this bottom area where the little gaps are, and now they can't get out. Well, mostly they can't get out. They can't get out through here. So this is yet another use of the materials that are really waste materials that we're able to reuse in a way that benefits us. And this whole year is about function here. And this to me is a very functional way to use the cast off, the pruning and the things that we've done to enhance our life in another way. So obviously these will break down over time, and obviously we will keep pruning. So I can see that this is going to keep working until we get around to doing the fence that's eventually going to be here.
All right, here we are. We're transitioning from the yard, if you will, to the extended yard. We don't know what we're calling this yet. Is that what we're calling it?
Well, yeah, I've been calling it the extended yard. Yeah.
So in between here, there was a huge pile. When we got here, there was a big pile of
brush and crap.
And we added to it, and it was probably...
It was taller than us.
2.5 meters, 3 meters tall.
It was taller than us.
It was just covered with... it was basically where we had taken all the vines and all of the different weeds and everything.
And the dead bodies, people we don't like, whatever.
Exactly. Things that we needed to break down quickly.
Exactly.
And so, but it wasn't breaking down quickly at all. It was going to take years. So what we decided to do is we cleared all of this out on both sides, more or less, and we're going to fill it back in with soil and compost and then plant into it. And so we will turn this into a flower area. So we'll have a variety of flowers, and then on the banks where you see this tall grass here, we're going to remove that and create some hilled areas that'll be fruit bushes. So you'll have raspberries, blueberries, gooseberries, so just all of that, kind of separating out from going out into the extended yard.
Extended
Yeah,
yard.
into the food
Well, into the
forest.
food forest
Yeah, so
area.
it'll kind of be
yeah.
your entry into the food forest. You'll pass through all the flowers and then out and have just food and fruits and everything else on the far side. So that's the idea anyways, and it's a process.
Well, and I think the important thing to point out is all that land back there that's tilled that we're going to slowly reclaim over time. We're planning on reclaiming for animals.
Yeah.
So all that we're talking
land,
about
yeah.
now is garden area that we're working on now, but all that out there will eventually be an animal area. So that's
the idea.
The yard, the extended yard, the extended yard, and then the animal yard.
And then the woodland in the background.
And then the
yes,
woodland.
That's the idea.
Oh yeah, the woodland in the background.
Anyway, so that's another little vision for the future. We don't know when that's going to happen, but it is a vision for the future.
I'm standing in a wildflower meadow. Well,
I missing something.
So our idea was that we were going to make a big triangular sort of diamondy area over here of wildflowers and have some little paths going through and all of that. So that's why Warren cut the grass really, really low. Then we realized that this grass is just too thick and it's too hard to pull it up right now. So we have had to change our time scale on this. We'll have to tarp over this and let it kind of die back.
Yeah.
And then we will come back in the spring and plant wildflowers.
Spring of next year.
Next year. So unfortunately that is on a bit of a delay, but it was a good thing to learn. Next to it, we've got what is going to be our kitchen garden eventually. I've done a bunch of weeding, although it doesn't even look like it, does it? But it was really overgrown before. I've done a bunch of weeding in here. We're not going to do a whole lot right now just because we're about to have a construction project right next door into this patio area. But once the patio is put in and the door and all of that happens, then we will come back and this area will be turned into a kitchen garden area.
Well, currently there's a few things in there. So we've got some lettuce and some kale, some bok choy, some rhubarb.
It's not going to look like that.
No, it doesn't. No, it'll be completely modified. But it'll be nice to walk out that door and just be able to harvest salad greens and kale and things like that.
And because this will all be shaded, we'll also have some pots with some things in here, some mint and things like that. And so I think it's going to be really nice to have that here.
Agreed.
But yeah, that and then the eventual wildflower meadow. And then last but not least, I want to get this on video really quick. We got rid of a bunch of tree trunks, which you saw out there. This is the one we couldn't move, and it has turned into a table in our little beer garden. Which I think we are going to get a lot of use out of as we continue working.
Look how beautiful those flowers are. My goodness.
I love those flowers. Welcome to the chicken area. This is our new chicken coop, and it was made all from old pallets and reclaimed wood. And
just stuff we found around here.
And I love being able to say reclaimed wood because it sounds a whole lot fancier than trash wood that we had. But Warren has created this system where you can pull the wheelbarrow or the basket up and do the clean out into here. And then
it's not ready yet. It's still,
not ready yet,
obviously.
It's getting closer. We still need to do a little bit of touch-up painting, and we
need to close up the top and stuff.
And we have the fence to put around, but we are getting there. And we've got a little door for them on the other side. But this is a great area because we've got shade and we've got some sun for them to get into, so it's a really nice mix for them. And I like that this is green and it just kind of fades into the rest of the green here because there are other things that I want to look at other than a chicken coop.
Yeah. And this is in basically on the side yard. So it's behind the workshop. So there's the back of the workshop there. So this is not something that we see every day, but it is easy to get to. It's very close to the front door, but far enough away we're not going to smell it all the time. Exactly. And you can see the post back there we've started putting in for the fence, for the little chicken run. So again, we're just going to put a little chicken run up, mainly we want to protect them from any dogs or predators. And getting them out and, during the day, obviously they'll be out here. We want to make sure they don't fall prey to anything.
Exactly.
So we have lots of hawks and eagles here, and we would like to keep our 3 chickens when we do get them.
Okay, here we are in front of the house, but behind the panaderia.
So our house is right, you can almost see the door right through there.
Door through there.
Yep.
So this area, we're just up from the chicken coop area, which he's going to pan around and show you.
There's your chicken coop.
I don't know if you remember the last time, these camellia trees were just giant bushes. They blocked everything in. You probably didn't even know there was a path back there. Warren has come in and he's done a lot of pruning to make these into actual trees instead of overgrown bushes. And it's really opened this area up. I love it so much more. Obviously still a lot more work to be done, but I can just imagine a nice picnic table here. This is going to be a great place to eat in the summertime.
Agreed.
So I'm really excited about that. But come on over and we will also look at the fish pond.
I don't know if you guys remember, but we had this concrete pond here that was empty when we moved in.
It's a
cement pond. For those of you that might remember that show.
Definitely Hillbillies.
So we have filled it in completely with, you know, a bunch of branches and just, you know, cuttings and leaves and all kinds of stuff at the bottom, and then put soil on top of that and planted into it. And so you've got a couple of zucchini plants, some marigolds, that spinach coming up right there, got some lettuce, more lettuce up here, that's some dwarf kale, more marigolds, and a couple of, well, they used to be those little, if you can see them there, that used to be some, were going to be beautiful cilantro and sunflowers, and alas, the birds found it. But that's okay. It's part of the process of living out here, is you're going to have to share things with the birds. So it's a transformation. It's still pretty ugly, as you can see, but it's functional. And as we said, this year is about
function. So here we are on the side of the house, and you can see some of the blooms that we've got and how the trees are all greening up. They just look gorgeous. This is the side yard that the dogs stay in whenever it's nice. And then, as you can see, there's the house. So I just wanted to show you some of the blooms that we are seeing. Over here, those big snowball looking ones next to the monkey tree, I love those. I don't know how long they're gonna last, but I hope forever. Lots of overgrown green areas, which I kind of like it being a little bit messy and overgrown. You know, maybe that's not what everybody else likes, but it just feels wild and full of life to me. But you can see that a lot of the garden that was done by the previous owner, he had quite a more formal garden, which we're not going to maintain, and he died several years ago, so it's gotten quite overgrown. But I am liking to see some of these bursts of color like we have over there in the ugly frog pond that will eventually go away too. But then if you go across the street to the orchard, here's the overgrown kind of woodsy part, and then all the trees we have over here, most of them have bloomed out, but you can see that we still have some. But it is really beautiful over here, and I can't wait till we start seeing fruit. Some of these trees are a little bit older, and we're not quite sure how productive they still are, so that's going to be you know, something that we'll learn this year. But I have to say, it is such a nice area to come over to. Okay, the farmer has just come and he has prepped the land that we rent to him for the planting of the corn. So all the way around the backside you can see. And Warren checking his trees, his little baby trees in the berm to make sure that they're okay.
They're good. All right, here we are. So remember when we talked about how we had all these branches laid out and this whole area we were waiting on the idea of being able to till it into the ground? Well, guess what? He arrived yesterday and Pepe came in and helped us to completely till up all this ground. So all of
You just said he helped us. We didn't do anything.
Well, he did help us. We didn't do anything. He assisted us in the process of making it happen. So now this entire land is prepped and ready. And then in the fall, we'll come back and do another version and another till to get rid of another layer of the seeds that have come to the surface. And then we will build a plant in it. Muy buenas. ¿Cómo está?
And here comes our neighbors. tranquil sound of country life.